I'm sure we've all been there where you've delivered a job for a customer and it's not gone to plan. Customer's not happy, and they've done one of a couple of things. They've either mentioned they're not very happy, and you've immediately switched negative and gone, oh my god, and all this sort of stuff. And then the other side of it is where the customer's rung you and they've gone, DEFCON 1 on you and lost their absolute mind with you. It's very easy to elicit a very emotional response. So just thought I'd jump on and have a quick gabble about sort of interacting with the customer and getting the most out of that interaction without necessarily switching to a really emotional response. So in our industry in window cleaning, especially with like waterfed pole, there can be issues on things like first cleans. There can be issues with the property, issues with the equipment, X, Y, and Z. These things happen. So for case in point, right? For example, okay, we have a customer who came on very recently, and normally, if I'm able to, and it's nearby, I will go and try and quote in person. Okay, and I'll inspect the windows, and I'll have a look, and I'll have a face-to-face with the customer, get a feeling for what they're like as a customer, whether or not it's a good match, etc., whether we can, we'll work well with them, etc., and all that sort of stuff. A good chunk of the time, we'll do Google recce's. So, for example, get the name and address off the customer, do a Google recce at the front from street view, etc., look at the satellite view above to get an idea of scale at the back. It's not 100%, guaranteed, but I would take 75% efficiency most of the time versus 100% accuracy and getting through less quotes. So there's that. Okay, so I understand for some of those people listening to this going, well, I go and quote in person, or I go the other way and I quote 100% through Google. Each to his own. They both have their merits, but in an ideal world, if it's a particularly big job, I will go in person for the simple fact that big jobs. So like right now, I'm currently at the estuary right now. So all that there you go. And so at the Shard pub now. Now there is someone that currently does this this pub, and some windows don't get fully done because they have limited equipment, etc. But they don't want to pay the full price, which is fine. But something of that size, I will probably go out in person because you need to establish trust, and it's easier to establish trust if you've met the person face to face. They've shaken your hand, etc. You get that warm fuzzy feeling. I think we're hardwired as human beings to be that way. But on this occasion, I did not go out to price the property just purely on the basis that I have been so busy. It was a certain distance away where I thought, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be the best use of my time that day. But they wanted a very quick turnaround. They wanted a decision, sort of thing. So swings and roundabouts. Get back to my original point. Nice little segue there. Go back to my original point, which is obviously having not done a full in-depth inspection of that site. Okay, we've sent a van to do the job, and streaks are appearing on windows, etc. Now, we always try and manage the customer's expectations, as always. It's the best way to be. But on this occasion, there were streaks in the windows, and the customer rang me and went chicken oriental. And it's very easy to get sucked in and emotional when someone is in your face, or someone that, you know, someone is going chicken oriental at you, it's very easy to sort of switch fire and turn the tables on them and just go, you know, fire back, match their energy, I think, you know what I mean? So if someone is like being nice to you, you want to be nice to them. Well, on the flip side of that, if someone's sort of insulting you, calling you every name under the sun, you, at the very least, the old Chris would have wanted to call them names or resort to less than savoury physical actions. But the thing is obviously it's very easy to do that. But if you can control your response, you know, moderate your emotions, because at the bottom of you might be thinking this person's an absolute piece of work, but you have to be professional because there's more at stake than just your, there's more at stake than just this job. You know, it goes back to character. And here's the thing, is that it's not about how you react when things are going really, really well. Anybody can be the best human being in the world when their business is going really, really well. When things are going swimmingly, when things are going really, really well, everybody turns in, etc. Everybody does the job, etc. All that jazz. Everything goes well. Customer pays on time. Oh, brilliant, fantastic. You're not tested when things go well. You're tested when things go wrong, okay? Because here's the thing, people, you know, don't remember. If you turn up to do someone's windows and you do a good job, the best you're going to get is a thank you, which is fine. But, you know, if you turn up and do a poor job, you know, then you have to sort of, you know, you have to be measured in your response when people criticize you. It's so easy to turn personal. So, case in point, because I hadn't done an inspection on this property, I hadn't noticed that the gaskets in the windows, the rubber seals that run all the way around the glass and UPVC unit, I hadn't noticed that they were perishing. Now, had I known that in the very beginning, I'll be honest with you, I would have mentioned it to the customer at the very least and said, listen, your gaskets are extremely perished, so we can clean the windows. However, the result is probably not going to be 100%. And here's the thing, for those saying, oh, wow, traditional X, Y, and Z. It's not necessarily the case either with traditional. The bottom line is, those gaskets, once they perish, they get wet from rainfall. They will run streaky marks down the window. They get wet from a traditional guy running his cloth along the edge of the gasket. They will run grey. You get a guy with a water-fed pole, put water onto perished gaskets, they're gonna sing along if you know the words. You know, they're gonna run grey, aren't they? They're gonna get grey marks down the windows. And if I'd known that, I could have done one of two things. I could have either managed the customer's expectations and told them we can do it, but the result is probably you're probably going to find that this is going to happen. Or I could have turned around to them and said, it's not something we're going to take on because I don't think you're getting value for money. And this is the other thing I wanted to come on to as well. Sometimes you're going to get more respect from people, instead of trying to give them the hard sell, is to help them solve the problem. Is what you're going to do solve the problem? So yesterday I did a quote for a gutter clearance, just nothing sexy, nothing good, you know, nothing outlandish, just a bog standard gutter vac front, gutter vac rear, on a terraced house, 96 quid's worth. And I gave them, I went to give them the quote, but I looked at it and I noticed that the roof tiles at the front, they were, so context, right? They basically said water was getting into their house, right? And we'd had a massive downpour of rain, you know, the night before, and she was getting water going into the back and the front of her house. And I noticed at the front of the house there was tiles that were sort of lifted up ever so slightly. So imagine the gutters there, the tiles should sit there. The tiles were like that, right? Or a bit like that, okay? And what's happened is that I think when it's rained, and I've seen, because you get a knack for these kinds of things. If you can diagnose a problem, you get a knack for how things go wrong. And again, because I speak to other trades like roofers, like plumbing and heating engineers, etc., I kind of have an inkling as to if something's causing a problem that's closely related to what I do, I can relate that and relay that information to the customer. Now, knowing what I knew about that job, I could have quite easily sold them the £96 gutter clear, taken the money, and rode off into the sunset. Not an issue. And as far as I'm concerned, the problem isn't solved, but I've got paid. That will do you absolutely no favours whatsoever. So as much as you might want the money, and again I can relate to that, where you will desperately, you'll do anything to sort of get money at some stage in your life, I've no doubt. Certainly the case with me. But I had to, at that very point, sort of say to the customer, it would cost 96 quid to clear the gutter. However, I think you'd be better placed having a chat with the roofer first. Because here's the thing, if water is getting into your roof, okay, or getting into your property, should I say, it's more likely that there is a hole somewhere in the roof than there is a gutter overflowing. Because if a gutter overflows, a good chunk of that water will go over the edge of the property, down the front of the property, okay, and it's not probably going to ingress into the house. On the other hand, if you've got a hole in your roof, right, it doesn't matter how clear those gutters are, when it rains, water will start pouring in to your house. And it might be small amounts, might be large amounts, but bottom line is, it doesn't matter how clear that gutter is, it's not going to fix the problem. Because don't forget, when they reached out to me, they said they had a problem and they wanted it solving. Well, is me charging them 96 quid going to solve the problem? No, it's not. In my humble opinion, it's not. And I did say to them face to face, and I explained what my thoughts were and my thought process behind it. Very, very calm. Just take the emotion out of it. Very calm. Just explain it to them. I've referred them on to my friend who's the roofer. And here's the thing, because you've got a choice, right? If you're the customer, you can pay me 96 quid and I'll clear the gutter out, and you're still probably going to have the problem you originally had. Or you might pay a little bit more for the roofer to come out and rectify a small fault with your roof, and he will clear the gutter while he's up there. You know what I mean? So why charge you twice, right? And so anyway, put that to him. Customer was very happy with that. It was like, you know, sort of took the information, and as he will do what he will do with it. But this morning I got a text from the customer saying that they booked in the roofer. The roofer came out that afternoon, and sure enough, there was a fist-sized hole in the tiling and the soffit board, and no amount of me clearing that gutter would have fixed the issue. So ultimately, in the long run, the problem's been fixed, and I've actually probably saved him a bit of money as well. The fact that he's taken time out of his day to send me that message means a lot, because A, it means, yeah, all right, I did the right thing. Okay, so ethically, I've done the right thing. B, the customer is sorted. C, that whether or not I've taken money from that person or not, there is trust now. So the next time he needs a gutter clearing, next time he needs window cleaning, next time he needs pressure washing, next time he needs gutter fascia soffit, or anyone he knows in his network, needs that service, because he's taken time out of his day to say thank you, and I will definitely be referring you on. My mission has been done. So I've taken the short-term, hit, if you like, by not getting the job, and I've reaped the long-term reward. But it's all about, not being emotional, not rushing in and attacking the issue. It's stepping back and looking at a wider picture and sort of saying, right, well, actually, let's be professional. Let's sort of, and when it comes to complaints as well, if you can turn around and say, if you can accept ownership without getting emotional and say, yeah, no dramas, this sometimes happens, we will put it right, okay? And as long as you can explain why it's happened and that you will put it right as best you can, or give a refund where necessary, there's no need, I've found, to react emotionally. Sometimes you're better off just sort of taking that step back, having that zen moment and just sort of saying, right, okay, there's no need to match that customer's energy. There's no need to match the negativity. There's no need to sort of go in the chicken oriental. There's no need to meet force with force, you know, or insult with insult. You know, it's just a case of, I can try and fix this for you. We'll do what we can. Sometimes this happens, you know. You feel the difference. And if you feel the difference, yeah, I can guarantee you the customer can feel the difference as well. So it might just be worth, yeah, don't go chicken oriental. So I'm going to get some lunch at this fine establishment, and then I shall see you all in the next video. Keep on keeping on, as per usual.